iced tea, paddy wagon, Tijuana taxi. For anyone growing up in the late 60s and early 70s, these images bring back a floodgate of memories. Tom Daniel, an industrial designer by trade, created 75 classic monogram models, many that have been reissued time after time. Tom is one of the most creative hot rod and custom designers of the 20th century.
Alright guys, welcome back. We're working on the fire iron and we're making some progress. We had a little bit of a problem for a while getting this cowl right here to fit. I guess it was me not really understanding how it worked. I was thinking before I put the top on, when I was fitting the sides, that these sides sat on top of this frame here, when in fact there's a lip behind here that I couldn't see because the engine had been put in and everything, and the walls actually fit inside the frame on that lip, connecting to this back firewall and then again to the front. So when I was doing it, it just wasn't working. I mean, it was actually curving from here to here. I actually had a curve in it at one point because it was stuck on something. It just took forever to really get it together. It wasn't until I took this apart and put it all together on the side and then had it fit in place. So I was getting so far, I had this all together and then I had to disassemble the whole thing and try again. So it is much more gooder now. Yes, much more gooder. But of course, in the meantime, I had screwed this up, had to repaint it because it was just all scuffed and everything. Still needs future though. We got some pump action here that's going to go underneath here. I have to get to work on, and then working on the back of the seat because that wasn't painted yet, so kind of missed that. So anyway, that's where we are, and we're going to continue in a little bit. Be right back. Alright, so we're cooking along on a fire iron, and where we are in our struggles, because actually this kit hasn't been all that easy. I'm not saying it's difficult, but it hasn't been the easiest. I had some issues with the nose, which I explained earlier. The back walls went together pretty well actually. So that's all set up. I got the pump setting, water pump in here underneath the seat. That's all in place. One of the downfalls of being a really slow builder like myself is I lost half of the water tank that sits up here. So what I did is I put some card in here for now, and I'm just going to build that up until it fits in that slot and then reshape it. Shouldn't be that difficult. It's just a hassle that I lost it. We put the cover on the toolbox. Can't see inside because it's glued down, and there's no hinge work on there, so it's not like I can hinge it up. And if I leave it loose, it's gonna get lost inevitably. So I just decided to forgo the tools. But yeah, that's where we're going. We're coming along. It's getting there, and I'm actually kind of happy with it. When I got the back on here, and it really put the stance all together, and I really like it. I think it looks really cool. So we're working along. Oh, one of the other things I've been doing also, and somebody had commenting and how it was stupid of me to strip and paint my chrome while it was still on here because the seam works. And he did have a point about that. But for me, I look at it as the base of it is done. It just kind of works. And what I've been doing, because when I put the pump together, there was some seams in it, and all I did, and same here, these had seams in it, and I had to sand them down, so that meant repainting. And while the chrome pieces were all done with a gold chrome paint, what I've been using to fix it after I sand it and everything is I've been using this Tester's copper over top of it. And you can't see it really now, but on the pump, when I went over it there were parts where it was still gold and there were parts where it was copper, and the mesh together, to my failing eyes, made it look cool. It gave it some more depth because there were some dimensions in it. So I kind of like that. So that's what I'm going to keep doing, and that's what I've been doing to this. Once it was in place and I had sanded the seams off, I just went over roughly and painted the copper, and it worked out. Seems to work out pretty well. So that's where we are. So we're getting there. We still got some more to go. Getting sidetracked with different projects. My son needs a Pinewood Derby car by next week, so that has started. I have some computer work I have to do. Still working on my Team Spirit group build. So I got my figures going on that. Here's my other one for that. Okay, they're ready for shiny coat, some future on them. Then I have to go make some decals. Well, I have to go get some decal, some printer ink, and then I can start making my decals. That's going to be a fun road. I never seem to have that down. It's always a challenge. But anyway, that's where we are right now, so bear with me. We'll be right back. Alright guys, welcome back. We're on wibbly wobbly camera mode because the way the kit is set up right now, I can't really move it, and the paint bottles there are in the way of my tripod, so I'm moving around there. Anyway, we're getting done, as you can see. We put these support pieces on. We got the ladder fixed in place. I have it sitting like this across the paintbrush because I went in and did some future work here, and I didn't want the ladder to rest on the hood while it was drying. I didn't want to take a chance of waiting to put the ladder in until this dried in place because I could snap it off. So I put the ladder in place and then glued in these stanchions in, and the ladder rotates. Like I said, went in, futured what I could by hand. We've got the pump set up going, the brakes in place. All these parts were done with the chrome spray paint, the gold plated chrome. And then what I did to give it what I felt was a better look is when I went over and touched it over with the copper, with the gold underneath it. It just gives it a nice look. I really like the way it is. Like you see here, this color. If the camera will show you the difference between this and then coming up here to the braids on the ladder, you can see there's a big difference. So I just like the look. With just copper though, you may say, no, I just painted copper. The copper I think looked too dark. So with the base of gold, chrome, and then the copper on top, I think it looks pretty good. So that's where we are. This is awaiting the ladder. Here we have our limp hose for the other side. That has to be done, put on. We still need, the windshield has to go in, the headlights have to go in, some other odds and ends. The steering column and steering wheel still have to go in. You'll notice here this isn't quite in place. I had a little bit of a scare with this, and that is I lost half of it. Couldn't find it. Was looking 2 days. I'm scouring my desk looking for this thing. Even the garbage bag that I have next to my desk, scoured that in case I threw it in there. Got to the point where I got to continue, so I used some plastic card I have, some scraps. Let me see if I can find out what I used here real quick. I use this thick card here. I don't know what scale it is. It's been sitting around for a while, but it's a thicker one. But I cut 3 pieces of this, stacked them, glued them together, and put them on the half of this that I had. Wanted to let it dry overnight, and then started shaping it, and the 3 pieces together fit like this is supposed to. Wouldn't you know, halfway through the process, wasn't perfect yet by any means, I found the other end, so I was able to pry off what I was working on, glued it together, and sanded the edges, and now I'm manually painting this. I have to do another coat of the face of it, and then I'll do the edges. That's where that is. So then we'll mount that. We'll put the cap on top, just like we have here. That cap, we have another cap that goes on there. So next time we see this, she should be done. That's about it for right now, guys. So till next time, be strong.